You know, I've heard a lot about the talent we have here in Alabama, but I never knew all the stories behind all of our great musicians. Like Hank Williams Sr. You know, he was born right here in Alabama, and he wrote many of his own songs. You know, he wrote songs that people felt, and some of his songs were sad, but some are funny.
You mean like, "Your cheatin' heart will tell on you"?
You're pretty good. And that might just be one of his most famous songs. Do you remember this one? I'm so lonesome I could cry.
You're pretty good yourself. Do you know anything about this fellow?
I've heard lots about W.C. Handy and how he invented a new kind of music to the world. You know, W.C. Handy, he took sounds from like animals to people working in the fields, and he added these sounds to his songs, and people loved his songs.
He was really good at making you feel the words. I guess that's why they called him the father of the blues. Have you heard of the St. Louis Blues?
I'd hate to see the evening sun go down. That song sure tugs at the heart, and it's still played all over the world. How about Nat King Cole? You know, he was born right here in Montgomery, Alabama.
I didn't know we had so much talent in our state. I bet you can guess which one of his songs I like best.
Bet I can guess. Unforgettable, that's what you are.
Do you know where we could find even more information about these Alabama musicians? Maybe the Alabama Music Hall of Fame in Muscle Shoals. Want to take a trip there?
Shall we?
Why not?
Let's go visit the Alabama Music Hall of Fame.
I listen to many different types of music, so I was really excited to go to the Alabama Music Hall of Fame.
Me too. And from the moment we walked up to the museum, I was excited. I noticed the water fountains out front with the speakers playing music from many of the famous musicians we've been reading about.
Yeah, that was special. We really do have a lot of musical talent in Alabama.
Everyone at the museum was so helpful, and they told us about people we already knew about, like W.C. Handy, Hank Williams Sr., and Nat King Cole. But how did you like the room filled with portraits of lots of other famous musicians from Alabama?
I was really impressed. There were so many people that I had no idea were from our state, or who had spent time in Alabama, like the man who wrote the Oscar Mayer Wiener jingle. I liked that song. Now, how did it go?
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener. That's what I truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener, everyone would be in love with me. You know, our tour guide said that little jingle was made by a man named Richard Trentledge in less than 1 hour. But it became so famous that he made millions off of it.
Maybe we could make songs for commercials and make millions off of those.
There were so many rooms filled with clothing and costumes worn by musicians, plus other displays. What did you think about the golden convertible with more than 500 silver dollars built into it?
That car was amazing. But didn't our tour guide say it was owned by some guy named Happy Hal Burns?
Yeah, I think he was a singer and songwriter who helped promote other musicians. Our guide said that if you were lucky enough to get a ride in Happy Hal's Pontiac convertible, that meant you were somebody very special.
Remember the display that looked just like the stage from the Country Boy Eddie show? Country Boy Eddie would invite singers and musicians onto his show, and he would crack a lot of corny jokes, and one of his trademarks was braying like a mule.
Oh, I do remember that. And then our tour guide pointed out a possum on display on the Country Boy Eddie show. And then he gave us a clue. Because on the scavenger hunt, one of the questions is, where can you find a possum in the museum? Well, now we know.
That gold convertible was pretty cool, but the tour bus donated by the group Alabama was huge.
It was huge and looked like a traveling hotel, complete with sleeping area and kitchen. Guess the group Alabama needed it because they are very famous and on the road a lot. Did you know the band has over 41 number one country records? And they have sold over 75 million records.
People have said that it's unlikely that any other country group will ever surpass their success, and they're from right here in Alabama. There was so much to see and do at the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, but what part was your favorite?
That's a difficult decision, but I thought we sounded pretty good in that recording booth. How about you?
Guess we sounded okay, but I think we're gonna need a little bit of practice before we hit the road as country musicians.
Well, then let's start practicing. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be on the Alabama Music Hall of Fame.